again, this is Genevieve from the blog gracefullyhome.com, and today I am sharing how we make our Instant Pot yogurt and something that we do about 2 to 3 times a year. We've been making our own homemade yogurt for several years now, but I never found a method that really produced the kind of yogurt that you would write home about. And I finally found that a couple of years ago when I bought an Instant Pot. Now, the one reason why I bought the Instant Pot in the first place was because it did have a yogurt function. And so when I heard that it maintained that nice level warmth and that temperature that you need to culture your milk into yogurt, I was sold. And so when I started using it to make our homemade yogurt, I was very pleasantly surprised that it made the best yogurt that we had ever made. Unfortunately, I had to stop making our homemade yogurt. Once I found the right method, I had to stop because I was unable to get access to the type of milk that I liked using to make our homemade yogurt. And that was because all the gas prices were going up and the whole shipping thing. And so I just kind of put it on hold and we bought store-bought organic yogurt, which was fine. But recently, when I was at the grocery store, they were out of the Gable size, half gallon, I guess, organic milk. And so I kind of looked around to see what other options they had because we needed to get some milk. And they had the gallon size milk jugs that not only were organic, but I realized that they were pasteurized and not ultra pasteurized, which I think that makes a huge difference when you're making homemade yogurt. Now you can use ultra pasteurized milk for making yogurt and also things like culturing milk to make kefir milk, but I really think there's a huge difference when you don't use the ultra pasteurized and you use the pasteurized. The difference that I've seen is that the yogurt is thicker and it has a more smooth texture to it, and it is really delicious just as is without even adding any like honey or granola or anything like that. It's just a very smooth yogurt. And I really prefer making the homemade yogurt as opposed to getting the store-bought because 1, I know what's going in it, 2, I know what's not going in it, and 3, when you make it at home and also with the type of milk that is not ultra pasteurized, you're going to be able to culture more of the good bacteria that you might not get from store-bought. What I love about my Instant Pot version is that when I press that yogurt function, it allows me to select the mode for whatever I want to do, whether that's a custom time or pasteurizing or fermenting. And then once I get the temperature down back to about 110 degrees, I'm able to just set it for 8 hours, put the lid back on, and then it will literally keep that temperature, and then it will start to culture our yogurt. And by the time it's morning, we'll have some fresh homemade yogurt. Basically with this version, you are doing the same type of steps, but the machine is kind of doing more of the work for you. So instead of standing next to the stove and waiting for it to heat up, you can actually set it and then walk away, which is nice, and then it will beep when it's ready. For my Instant Pot, what it does is it'll heat it up to at least 180 degrees. And I double checked it with our kitchen thermometer when I first started using it, and it does. It brings that temperature up to 180 degrees, and then it will kind of beep and make a sound, letting me know that it's heated. And then all I do is turn it off and then remove the pot with the milk and place it somewhere where it can cool down back to 110 degrees. Now, I know that there are some people out there, and I've done this method as well, you can set your pot into some ice cold water, and that will help to bring down the temperature quicker, except you really want to make sure and pay attention so that it doesn't drop down below that 110 degrees. Now, I know some recipes will say 115 degrees. Both of them, I believe, work because I've used both of them and didn't have any issues. But once that temperature is reached, it's just a matter of closing the lid and setting it to ferment, and then just letting it ferment and culture for that 8 hours while you're sleeping. You could also start it in the morning, and then it could be ready before you go to bed the next night. Now, this keeps in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks. Ours doesn't really last that long because we are a bigger family. We do eat yogurt, not just for breakfast, but also for snacks. And we just store it in our refrigerator in one of our half-gallon mason jars and also the quart-size mason jars. We put one of the plastic lids on it. We'll put the date also on top so that we know when it was done, and then we can just enjoy it. And it's a really simple process, and it doesn't really take any type of skills. The machine does basically all the work. We just kind of check it in between, and it just makes a really great homemade product. In one of our recent videos, I shared how we're always looking for different ways to preserve food here on our farm. And one of those ways is how to water glass our eggs to preserve them for the winter. If you have not seen that video, I'll put the link down below, as well as the link for our blog post that shares all the details on how to do it. So I mentioned that there's something that I like to do about 2 or 3 times a year, and that is giving our common areas in our farmhouse a deep cleaning. So what I'm doing today is the dining area, and also I've already done the living room. And we are actually preparing for our little fella, our little friend, to come and visit. He's visiting tomorrow, and you'll be seeing him a little bit more because I'll be carrying him around.